So here are all the parts that I have separated of the Sazabi in the 3 different color tones. This is the light red, which is basically almost pinkish, reminiscent to the original Master Grade Zaku 2 Char's version. Then we have the darker shade of red, medium shade of red, which constitutes, I guess you could say, well, this is like about 15%, this is 40% of the color, maybe 50%. And here's the darker red, which covers, I guess, another 40% or something like that. I don't know if my ratio is if I'm doing a right amount, a percentage of ratios. But these 3 colors, of course, represents all 3 tones of the Sazabi, which basically copper goes with this, mirror Luxon goes with this, and then pale gold goes with that. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. A lot of these parts I decided to cut off from the tree. As you can see, I have to dedicate my time to cutting each one of those bit by bit, sand them down nice and smooth, make sure it's conformed to the part, make sure nothing is damaged. Some of them I was a bit afraid to cut off and afraid they're gonna, fly off. Like, of course, the wings that pop out of the funnels, or the bits, the bits. There's even smaller parts in there that I had to be very, very careful not to, again, fly out someplace. So I had to be very careful with these. And unfortunately, what you see here is just a sample. Is only half the amount of work that I have to do. The other half, as a matter of fact, let me put these aside so you guys can see this. It's a whole nother story. So here is all the black colors. Here is a combination of yellow and the silver. And then here are the charcoal parts. And there's so many charcoal parts, I actually had to get another tray for this. Look at all this. I now got to clean all this up and have that ready. I haven't even included the beam effect weapons, of course, the polycaps, and the hands. And another thing I've discovered, I didn't realize this until I was cutting all this, the shield and the inner frame are 2 different grays. Maybe it was a wise idea to get the jet exhaust, but I'm not too... I don't know if the jet exhaust color would look good with this. I know that I said that I was going to do chrome, gunmetal for the inner frame. Maybe I can use metallic gray. But I also have not chrome for Lexon, polished aluminum. Maybe that would be good. Polished aluminum and then chrome for Lexon are 2 different tones. Maybe. I have no idea. This has to be tested out either way. Alright, so right now I'm going to focus on this. Not only am I going to clean the yellow up, but I'm going to start painting these the Hotmetal Red. I'm going to paint these and get it out of the way, and then I move on with the rest of the stuff. So one of the most mundane works I have to do right now is sanding down a lot of parts. Lots of it. Holy shit, I can't believe how many I have to do. But I have to do them, and one of them, of course, that I had to do the most would be the yellow, as you can see here. I had to make sure that I have the right amount. I didn't lose nothing. They're all in the order that they came with. The inside thrusters, I don't have to worry about painting on the outside because these things will go inside the outer thrusters, which will be painted a different color tone. But the inside will definitely need the color, the painted color inside. Not only from here, but these guys here as well, the smaller ones, all the way down here. I believe this one, I think I have to paint the sides, but I'm not 200% sure. These yellow trim parts is easy to do. I don't have to worry about the edges. I only sanded down what I believed was a requirement. The chest cannon is going to be an interesting paint job because there's a lot of detail there, and I want to see if I can get it well done to a point where I can maybe do some embedded panel lining. Who knows? I'm still, debating on how I'm going to do this. Here's some more detailed trim parts, which I don't have to worry about the leading edges. This part here, of course, I could not put it on my reversible tape because I can't tell whether, even though I'm painting these edges here, and here, I don't know about everything else. So I'm just going to make sure I paint the whole thing just to cover all my bases. The last thing that I was cleaning up and sanding down, which took a tremendous amount of time, happens to be the round umbilical cord parts. And I'm going to show you something. I had this toothpick here, this long one, which I thought, all right, I'm going to put them all here, but these things will be loose and moving freely. So I thought maybe I'll put it in one of these, but they're too thick. Fortunately, I had a bag full of extra bamboo sticks, and I was trying to find the right width and diameter that will fit the umbilical parts, and I was able to find it, and they're all held up by a little bit of pressure. They're not moving around, they're nice and steady, and I'm going to use this to paint from here, and then that way once it's painted and dry, just remove them, put them in storage, and I'll be done. So let's begin. This is what it looks like before priming, and now here it is, primed, all black, gloss black. You can see the reflectiveness here. I don't know if you can see it in the light, but it is nicely reflected. Since again, I had to paint from the inside, and it's kind of hard to paint airbrush thrusters from the inside because, of course, it's a funnel. It's funneling all the pigments and paint up to your face. So what I did was I had to put it in an angle along the edges of my, near my spray booth, and began airbrushing it a little bit, just a little, not blasting it an insane amount, just a decent amount where it can cover it. And I gave it 2 coats. I also painted this part here. I painted the whole thing along the leading edges. I want to cover everything. I'm waiting for this to dry now. And of course, all the umbilicals, as you can see, nice and glossy. See that? Nice and glossy. And sanded down painstakingly. So, like I said before, this is what it looks like before painting the Hotmetal Red. And here it is, all painted. No, not the this color, the Hotmetal Red, because I almost forgot. Wait a minute, I gotta do a metallic coating first before I apply this. Now I was gonna do the Lexan one, this guy, Chrome for Lexan, but I decided to change up and try a different type of color. I decided to use polished aluminum. I was thinking maybe this would be a more appropriate choice. And looking at this now, see how silvery it is. I actually had to do 2 coats on this. One light coat and then another light one, and the reflectiveness looks really nice on that. Here's the other one. Check that out. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Oops. And then, of course, the umbilicals. Except sometimes when I look in the light, sometimes I look at it shiny, 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 and then a little dark. I may want to give it a second pass just in case. But it's nice and reflective, as you see there. And once I finish it dries, I now move on to this guy. Give me a second. And here it is, painted Hotmetal Red. Take a look at that. begin with these thrusters here. That's an interesting, very interesting how it came out. Look at that. Alright. The smaller thrusters came out okay, but I feel like it needs another pass because some of them seems a little darker in areas, but I guess that doesn't matter if I redo it again. Seeing it through the light on this camera is not easy, but it has that nice reflective look, as you could see there. So from the inside, thrusters is okay. And there's some here. This one, of course, I may have to take out and redo because one's darker than the other, so I may have oversaturated one. Then over here, this is going to be the trim parts. Here. Here's the chest cannon. Sorry if it doesn't look pretty good in the light, but it has a nice reflectiveness. Don't know how I can do this even further. Now, I always have to get myself at least an LED flashlight, have it with me so you guys can see this. I should do that next time in future builds. Here's part of the thrusters on the waist, and these. Alright, so what do you guys think of that? Here's the other parts. See? And of course, the most important part, the umbilicals. The umbilicals have a nice shine. Yeah. I may review this one more time, give it another pass if I have to, light pass that is. And then I'm going to seal it up with my clear gloss coat just so I can protect it. Then I'm going to put it in a plastic tray and seal it away so that way that it doesn't get damaged. Alright, so far so good. Let's now move on to the next series of parts after build.